No single country runs the Islamic world. And honestly, that simple truth has been quietly fueling a serious rivalry for years between Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Turkey. Each one thinks it has what it takes to guide nearly 2 billion Muslims, but none of them gets a clear yes from everyone. Let's start with the basics, because everything else builds on this. After Prophet Muhammad passed away in 632, Muslims faced a big question: who should lead next? Sunnis, who make up about 85 to 90% of Muslims, believed the community should choose capable leaders. Shias believed leadership should stay within the Prophet's family, beginning with Ali. Fast forward to today, and that old divide still shapes real-world power plays. Iran is the big Shia power. Its leaders see the country as a revolutionary force standing up to what they call corrupt rulers and Western meddling. They back groups like Hezbollah and the Houthis, and they frame their role as protecting the true spirit of resistance. On the other side, Saudi Arabia sits at the heart of Sunni Islam. It's home to Mecca and Medina, the two holiest cities. The Saudi king calls himself custodian of the two holy mosques, which carries huge symbolic weight. Saudi Arabia pours money into mosques, schools, and charities around the world, and plays a leading role in the organization of Islamic cooperation. For many Sunnis, that religious authority feels natural and deeply rooted. Turkey steps in with its own vision. Then there's Turkey, which brings a different energy to the table. Under President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, Turkey has leaned into its Ottoman history. Turkey doesn't claim to be a new caliph, but it offers something fresh, a confident, modern Muslim voice that's active on issues like Palestine, builds mosques and schools abroad, and speaks up boldly without sounding like a strict monarchy or a revolutionary theocracy. Many Muslims, especially Sunnis who feel tired of the old binaries, find this appealing. So who's actually fit to lead? Let's be real and look at each one honestly. Saudi Arabia has unmatched religious credibility because of the holy sites. It has deep pockets, strong ties with many Sunni governments, and it's been softening some social rules at home while still holding on to its conservative base. The downside? Some Muslims see it as too cozy with the West or too focused on keeping a royal family in power rather than broader Muslim causes. Iran brings real passion and a clear anti-imperialist message that resonates with people fed up with the status quo. Its network of allies shows resilience under pressure, but its Shia identity and the way it operates in the region make it hard for many Sunnis to fully get behind it. A lot of people view its actions as divisive rather than unifying. Turkey has size, a big military, somewhat flawed democratic system, and cultural reach through TV dramas, aid work, and history. It talks about Muslim unity and standing tall without the baggage of absolute monarchy or strict sectarianism. The catch? Critics call it overambitious or neo-Ottoman, and its domestic politics can sometimes undercut its international image. In the end, no one has a perfect claim. The Islamic world is incredibly diverse, from Indonesia to Nigeria to Pakistan. There is no central authority like a pope. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation brings people together to talk, but it doesn't hand out crowns. Real influence comes through a mix of money, media, diplomacy, and sometimes proxy conflicts. But all three powers also cooperate quietly when it suits them. Thank you for watching till the end, and if you found the video insightful, hit the like button and subscribe. See you in the next video.